The Ocean Gate Titan submarine, which was going to explore the debris of the Titanic, turns into debris itself after a catastrophic implosion takes place in the deep ocean. But what if I told you that it's actually not what it looks like? For years, powerful people have controlled us to distract us from knowing what's really going on. Let's see how this incident unfolds. On June 18th, at 12 p.m., the submarine dives, but just after 1 hour and 45 minutes into the dive, the submersible loses its connection with the mothership, the Polar Prince. It was a 7-hour trip to the Titanic shipwreck, and they had to return by 7 p.m., but when, at 7 p.m., the submarine didn't return, the mothership's crew began searching for the vessel. A search operation is then launched by the Canadian and U.S. ships to find the submarine. On June 21st, at 6 a.m., after 2 days of non-stop searching, they heard some noise that underwater radars had picked up from the deep ocean. ROVS was then sent in the direction of the sound source, but it found nothing. The next day, on June 22nd at 12 p.m., ROVS was again sent to the Titanic shipwreck, but this time it caught a part of the Titan submarine just 1,600 feet away from the wreck. This news made headlines around the world. But now let's take a look at how they planned all of this and what they are actually doing. There were 5 passengers in the submarine. The first passenger is Hamish Harding, who is chairman of Action Aviation and a retired NASA astronaut, and has also been to space. The next person was Shahzada Dawood with his son, Sulaiman Dawood, a business tycoon in Pakistan. Next is Paul Henry Narji-Alid, a retired Navy commander known as Mr. Titanic, for being the first person to ever dive to the Titanic shipwreck. Lastly, we have Stockton Rush, who is the founder of Ocean Gate and built this submarine. Up until now, you all must have been aware of the fact that this incident was teased in The Simpsons episode, in which Homer goes to the Titanic shipwreck and finds the treasure, but he gets stuck there and the oxygen suddenly runs out, and he dies. But that's not all, there's so much more. The CEO of Ocean Gate, Stockton Rush, is not an ordinary person. His actual name is Richard Stockton Rush III. He is a fucking billionaire. His father was Richard Stockton Rush Jr., who was the vice president of the Bohemian Grove. If you don't know about the Bohemian Grove, it's actually a secret organization full of high-influence men from different countries, including politicians, businessmen, and even US presidents. In this picture, you can see Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan. This evil group worships Satan in front of a 40-foot owl statue and watches as they throw humans into the fire to offer human sacrifice to Satan, which is a demonic practice. Now this may sound absurd, but I think that Stockton Rush was just trying to offer human sacrifice to Satan, and I can prove it to you. You see, the Titan submersible dived on June 18th, which is Father's Day, probably a hint to Homer in The Simpsons going to the Titanic with his biological father. But now if you pay close attention to the date, June 18th, it's actually 3 times 6, which is a symbol to represent the Illuminati. Moreover, if you see the Bohemian Grove guest list of 2008, you'll see the name R. Stockton Rush III, which means he is also a member of the Bohemian Grove. These mysterious people go camping in only 2 months, June and July, the same month when the Titan submarine goes missing. But that's not even the craziest part. Stockton Rush knew that the submarine was poorly designed, yet he himself went to the Titanic shipwreck. This seems like the dumbest thing anyone could do, but he deliberately used poor quality materials, such as the cheap carbon fiber body instead of steel, and used a PS4 controller to control the submersible.
We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Come on!
In 2019, the same submarine took a businessman named Carl Stanley on a trip. And after the trip, Carl admitted that he heard the sound of cracking coming from the submarine.
At one point, I was actually even able to drive the submarine towards deeper water by the sound of the cracking getting louder.
The government also only allowed the submarine to go to a depth of 4,500 feet, but they went way deeper than that, to about 13,000 feet. It is confirmed that an implosion took place, but the reason has yet to be uncovered. There are few possibilities for the cause. As a recent video shows, the submarine made it to the bottom safely and was able to see the Titanic. The light from the submarine may have attracted an animal, which caused the implosion. It is also possible that the Titan may have been entangled with the Titanic debris or any fishing nets. I think there's enough evidence to show that it was all planned. It's just an illusion that the government is using to distract us. Otherwise, why did the boat that sank with 750 Pakistani migrants escaping Greece, leaving no survivors, receive nearly zero media coverage? Or perhaps they distracted us to hide the fact that JP Morgan has deleted files to hide their traces, or to hide a video that surfaced, where BlackRock said that they see the Russian-Ukrainian conflict as profit, or that lab-grown meat has been allowed in the US. Social media is just a tool for them. They can shift the attention of the masses with this to distract us. Share your thoughts on this incident in the comments section below. And also share this reality with your dearest friends. YouTube deleted my old channel, so please help me regrow this new one by subscribing to it. Watch what monster is eating the great white sharks in this video. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.